Hi friends, in today's current affairs, we'll discuss an important biotechnology topic. It is very useful for mains and you may get a question as a part of science and technology. How stem cells cures the diseases? So whenever we are getting any disease, normally diseases can be cured by medicines and the diseases can be prevented by any of the preventive measures, and even without any medication the vaccines will provide enough immunity so that you can get cure of this disease. We know the medicines, we know the vaccines, we know the surgical operations, and we know the laser treatments. These are all the different things that are there. But this is something different called stem cell. So what is this cell? How this cell is going to cure the diseases? So this is a novel technology and very important technology. Why actually this topic was in news? Why this topic was in news? This topic is in news because recently in the United States of America, an African woman of around 60 years of age, and she got cured from HIV. She was cured from HIV, and she is the third person in the world to get cured from HIV, and it is the first woman who cured from this HIV. This stem cell can be used for the other diseases also, but now it is curing the HIV also. So now I will explain what is this stem cell and how the stem cells work and how the stem cells are working in this particular HIV. How the stem cells are working in particular HIV, and what are these cells, where these cells are available, what is the so uniqueness about these cells, and how they are going to perform, and the complexity in implementation of this technology. Those things we will discuss. But it is in relation to a recent topic, which is like a woman in United States of America got cured from this HIV because of this stem cells, So this stem cell is, it's not any chemical compound, like if you take the case of medicine or if you take the case of vaccine, it includes the biochemical, it includes the biological product and it includes chemical product. Medicines are completely chemical products, but it's not a chemical product, it's not a biochemical, but it's purely a biological product. It's a cell with some modification. So what is this cell? Your body or human body made up of with trillions of cells. So that means trillions of cells are there inside the human body. We'll start our journey with a single particular cell inside the womb of a mother. Later it starts dividing it into 2, 2 into 4, 4 into 8. Like this division happens, and ultimately we are able to generate this trillions of cells, and today our body is made up of with these cells, and you all know that concept of cell. When it comes to the cell, does all the cells of a human body is same? This is the question. Does all the cells of a human body is same? Okay, cell structure is same. Every cell is having nucleus, every cell is having mitochondria, every cell is having DNA. So we know that, but does identically each and every cell is same? The each and every cell of a human body is not same. That doesn't mean that every cell is completely different to that of other cell. No. There are some cells are identical, and there are other type of cells, they are different to that of other cells. Suppose take the case of, though we have started our entire process with single cell, each and every cell has its own specific purpose, and that itself is there in your DNA structure. That itself is there in your DNA structure. What this particular cell has to do, what the other cell has to do. See, when we started our process as a human being, we start with a single cell, and this will lead to some different cells. Over a period of time, in the womb of a mother, our bodily organs start producing. So this starts making these organs happen because of this genetic code. Now, how actually the different organs formed? If it is one single cell, then you should have completely like completely like a solid rock, a solid body. We should be like a solid body if all the cells are same. But why we are having the hands? Why we are having the fingers? Why we are having the nails? Why we are having the ears? Why we are having the hair? Why we are having this liver? So why it is happening? It is happening because the diversity in the cells. It's happening because of diversity in the cells. Your eye cell is different to that of your heart cell. Your heart cell is different to that of your kidney cell. Your kidney cell is different to that of your nervous system cell. And your nervous system cell is different to that of your the skin cell. Cell in the sense in structure the cell is same, but in their respective DNA, only some portion, that means only some parts are activated and remaining parts are not activated. Because every cell in its DNA, has some sequence, and according to that sequence, this cell has started secreting the protein, and because of that protein itself, we are able to build up this muscle in the sense it can be anything, and entire our body is made up of with these proteins. Protein is again a cell, but it's a combination of different cells. Now take the case of eyes. So they will secrete a different type of protein, that's why we will get eyes. And the cells which are present here, they will secrete a different type of cells, that's why we are having hair. And cells that are secreting a different type of protein, that's why we have a pancreas, we have a liver, we have a heart, we have a lungs, we have a tongue. So the point here is, these organs will be made only when there is a secretion of protein. That protein will be secreted by the cells based on the code, but not all the cells will secrete same type of protein, it's all different. That means though the cell looks like same, but the internal code in that cell is completely different in the sense, again you are having the same DNA, but the half of the part of DNA is something we will call it as regulatory divisions. In that regulatory divisions, only some parts will be switched to particular type of cells, and the different part of the cells will be switched to the different part of the DNA in different cells. So that is the reason why we are having a different parts in our body. Now apart from these, now you understood, like there are some eye related cells, there are some blood related cells, there are some liver related cells, there are some nervous system or this neurological system cells like we are having. So every cell is like that. But what is the original cell? The original cell, is it an eye cell? Original cell is a blood cell, or original cell is a liver cell, or original cell is a heart cell? What is about the original cell? If original cell is the eyes, then we are not like this and we are simply like an eye. If the original cell is heart, then we are not like this, we are simply like a heart. The original cell is not all these things. The original cell is an original cell. We call it as embryonic cell. that original cell is having a characteristics, or the original cell is having a property to turn into any of this specialized cell, any of this specialized cell. So the original cells which we are talking, that means after immediately the fertilization, your embryo started forming because during that blastocyst process, and here actually this entire, after this fertilization process, your embryo formed. The initial cells of a human being are in such a way that they are in a position that they can be turned into any different other cells. So your original cell is not these cells, your original cell is something, a different cell which have an ability to turn into any of the specialized cell, any of the specialized cell. So this is an original cell, and these are the different cells that we are having in our body. Now what is this stem cell? Now what is this stem cell? Once you understand this, then what is this stem cell? Is it different from the other cell? Yes, it is different to that of other cell. So the stem cell is, it's a body's raw material, if at all I want to say. Its body's raw material, cell from which all other cells with specialized functions are generated. That means the first cell which we are talking, or the first few cells which we are talking about, they are stem cells. They are stem cells. Now you may get a question, like only these stem cells are available only at the time of this embryo process, or can that stem cells is available at a later part of the development of body? Can you and me have any stem cells in us? Yes, the answer is yes. Now human body, along with the other cells, it is having stem cells, that means the original cells. These cells are having a capacity to turn into any of the specialized cell. That means you can treat that cell, you can treat in a different way so that you can get a specialized cell. That means a cell which is not specialized but still it is a cell, it is having a capacity to turn into any specialized cell, we call it as stem cell. We call it as stem cell. So these stem cells are very, very important. Why these stem cells are important? Why these stem cells are important? These stem cells are important because of their own nature, because of their own uniqueness, because of their own nature and because of their own uniqueness. Now I will come to stem cells, the explanation of stem cells little bit later, but now what are the sources of this stem cell? From where you will get these stem cells, and what are the different type of stem cells? The different type of stem cells. The first one is embryonic stem cell. Embryonic stem cell. Embryonic stem cell. Second one is adult stem cell. Adult stem cell. First one is embryonic stem cell. Second one is adult stem cell. Third one is this cord blood stem cell. Cord blood stem cell. So what is this cord blood stem cell? Cord blood stem cell is again an original stem cell. Cord blood stem cell is an original stem cell. And here you can call it as this cord blood stem cell as this perinatal stem cell. Perinatal. I will explain what is this perinatal stem cell. And the fourth one is the therapeutic cloning stem cell. Therapeutic cloning stem cell. Therapeutic cloning stem cell. See, what is this embryonic stem cell? Just now I explained, in the process, that means after the fertilization of egg with a sperm cell, immediately you will get an embryo. In that, the initial cells or the original cells are this embryonic stem cell. They are having a capacity to turn it into any of the specialized cell. That is one source for embryonic stem cell. Second cell is adult stem cell. Adult stem cells means in adults we are getting that stem cells from the different part, from the bone marrow, from the blood, from the heart, from the lungs. So apart from the normal cells we are having this adult stem cells also. These adult stem cells are also having a capacity to turn into only to that specific cell. Suppose that means now suppose take the case of adult stem cell of a blood. Adult stem cell of a blood. Now adult stem cell of a blood now can be the adult stem cell of a blood can turn itself into a blood cell, because it is there in the blood. It is there in the blood. Adult stem cell of a liver can turn into liver cell. Then again you may get a question, if it is already with the liver, if it is generating liver cell, what is great about it? The greatness is, even if you remove that cell from that liver and if you place it outside also, it will work it as a liver cell. But if you take a cell from the liver and if you place it outside, it is normal cell. It cannot have a capacity. It cannot have a capacity to multiply, and it cannot have a capacity to turn the other cells which are generating from this stem cell to make it as a specialized cell, because this stem cell is not a single cell, and if you make a proper process, this cell again started dividing. This cell again started dividing. And how this division happened? If you make it inside an egg or oocyte, we can call it as. So if you make that cell in an oocyte and if it start dividing, then we can generate the similar amount of cells again and again. But your normal cell which is there in blood or liver, that don't have that capacity to multiply, because it's not a specialized cell. It's not a stem cell. It's only specialized cell. So the stem cells are, that is the reason why very important. But now the recent reports that are showing like this adult stem cells has also capacity to turn into different type of cells. It need not necessarily like, okay, adult stem cell of a blood can only be turned into blood cell, or adult stem cell of a liver can only be turned into a liver cell, or adult stem cell of a nervous system can only be converted into nervous. No, it's not like that. So it is something like this adult stem cells can also be turned into any of the specialized cell. So this is adult stem cell. Next, cord blood or perinatal stem cell. These cells are available in the placental membrane. That means when child was inside the womb of a mother, so the placenta, what we have in that placental membrane, that membrane of the placenta, these cells present. And apart from that, in placenta also it will be there, and placental membrane and placenta and umbilical cord, and also amniotic fluid. So amniotic fluid means this fluid will save the child. It will be completely covered with the child inside the womb of a mother. So from this also we can get stem cell, and this cord blood is a very usage technique now. Immediately when the child born, actually these people are collecting those stem cells and they are saving it. Now there are lot of cryogenic preservation of this cord blood cells are now came, cord blood stem cells, because they are very important. Because tomorrow if suddenly the same person got any disease or anything or close relatives to that person got any disease, they can use it for the curing of some of the diseases. I will come to that little bit later. Next, therapeutic cloning means it's a process, but it's an asexual process. They will do it outside. The that means it's something like, if you understand the cloning, you can understand. So they will take a specialized cell from somewhere and they will place it in a different oocyte, and they will give some signal, and so that it start multiplying, and with that you can generate the specialized cells. Now you understood like all the cells are not same. Some are the parental cells, and these parental cells we call it as stem cell. Now under a proper condition, these stem cells have a capacity to divide and form more cells. It can form more cells because it's not a single, it won't be like an ideal single cell. The cell having a capacity under proper condition, that means if you make with a, if you just insert it in a proper the embryo, or otherwise sometimes you no need embryo also, because sometimes it will require embryo, because in embryonic stem cells that you will get it from embryo, but there are other type of cells that doesn't require embryo, but in a proper regulated condition it have a capacity to multiply. And whenever they are multiplying, that means multiply in the sense they will divide, and whenever they are dividing they can generate the specialized cells, or again they can generate the new stem cells. That means a stem cell can generate an another stem cell or a specialized cell. Now you may ask a question, sir, if it is a stem cell, how can it become a specialized cell? Who are saying to the stem cell like you become the specialized cell? We will give proper signal. Suppose this is an original, suppose I am taking the embryonic stem cell. In embryonic stem cell it is an original cell, and in that I will give the signal, or I will make sure that the conditions are in such a way that I must make liver cells from that original cell, then it will only give liver cells, and I can program in such a way that it should give heart cells, so I can get only heart cells. So that means this original stem cell is having a capacity to divide, and thereby it can generate a specialized cell, and it can also generate stem cell, because you can't regulate the whole process. So because in the cell production itself, when a stem cell is multiplying and it is producing the specialized cells, it is having a capacity to produce even some of the stem cells also, and luckily those stem cells are now utilizing. Now we are utilizing. When it comes to the adult stem cells, initially this adult stem cell having a capacity to generate another stem cell, but a specialized cell from which we are drawing that specialized cell, if it is from bone, or if it is from the blood, or if it is from liver, if it is from kidney or anything. But now the recent research is showing like even the specialized stem cells, that what we are taking it from the body, we call it as adult stem cell, they can also be converted, they can also be turned into a different type of specialized stem cells. That is a recent. Anyhow, when it comes to the cord blood or placental, this perinatal, and this perinatal is also having a capacity to multiply, and therapeutic cloning is also like it will generate a single cell, it have a capacity to multiply, and at the same time it can generate any specialized cell. So now you need to understand, like we have some original cell, from that a different type of cells that means the produced cells has turned into a different specialization. Because of that we are able to have these many different organs. Now when the stem cells are producing these specialized cells, along with these specialized cells they will also produce stem cells, and the original cells, the sources are embryonic and cord blood and therapeutic cloning, and adult stem cells also we can use it for the purpose. Now once you understand what is a cell, what is a stem cell, and how stem cell is converting into different cells, now I will give an information. Okay, if this is the case, then why you need a stem cell? It is important. Then why you need a stem cell? See, the stem cell is important to cure some of the diseases. I will give some examples so that you can understand. See, you have a blood problem, that means you have a blood cancer, just assume. Your red blood cells are unable to live beyond a particular point of time, and your body is unable to produce the blood. Or because of this cancer, suppose if you underwent for chemotherapy, and because of that radiation some of the cells died. Now the point is how you will get the blood? Normally we can inject the blood, but how long you will inject the blood? Your body should also prepare the blood, no? If you simply inject the blood cells into the body, these blood cells are not stem cells. These blood cells don't have a capacity to multiply and generate its own specialized cell and further stem cells. It don't have that capacity. It is a cell, it will live to what extent it has its life. But whereas if you inject the stem cells in this, if you inject the stem cells in this with some proper programming, now either you can use the embryonic stem cell or you can use this adult stem cell from the blood. When you are taking, you must take adult stem cell, you must take the blood cell, you must take the blood cell from the adult. That means an adult stem cell of the blood you have to inject. If it is an embryonic cell, normally it don't have any specialization. Normally you will inject embryonic stem cell with proper programming. And now I told you, these are recent research, like adult stem cells can be used for any other purpose, but that requires extra treatment and extra process. So whenever you are taking an adult stem cell, you must take it from only for which part you are using, that from that part only you must use that cell. Now once you injected this stem cell inside the bone marrow, because that is the place where exactly the cells started producing the blood. Now these stem cells they will divide and they produce blood cells, and again they produce stem cells. They produce the blood cell and again they produce stem cell. Likewise, this production go on happening. So that is what the purpose of stem cell. So the purpose of stem cell is that it is multiplying, it is generating a specialized cell, it is generating in turn stem cell. That process will become sustained. So inside the human body this can be happened. Now this is one example I have given. So if you have a blood problem, how the stem cells are going to cure. Now suppose I will give another example, liver. Suppose part of your liver is damaged, or part of your nervous system is damaged, or part of your heart system is damaged. Now you need to compensate that portion with a new muscle, because that you remove that muscle part and you will place it with a new muscle. But can you make any muscle here? No. This entire part is made up of a different protein, and if you bring another different protein, this organ doesn't work. Now what you will do is you will place stem cell here, and so that stem cell will produce. Or otherwise what mostly we will do is we will culture this stem cell outside the body, that means in a laboratory. We will take an embryo. Sometimes you need an embryo, sometimes you don't need any embryo. And actually what we are doing is we are trying to reduce the usage of embryos, because we don't want to wastage the embryo. But whereas if you take the case of this therapeutic cloning, in that therapeutic cloning, normally you will place that cell inside the egg, inside the oocyte, and you will give a signal so that it's multiply, and it will generate that muscle. But even without that also this muscle generation can happen, but the process varies. But the overall thing is we will culture that embryonic stem cell, or that whatever the adult stem cell outside the body in a laboratory by giving some signal, so that it generates all the liver cells only. After that you will take these liver cells, that means whatever the liver muscle, and you will place it with the liver. So that means so whatever the technology that we are talking about, it's about regenerative curing. So if there is any injury, or if anything happened to your blood, your liver, your heart, your kidney, your complete nervous system, and your spinal cord, your kidneys, so we can use these things and we can cure it. That means so that you can place it on that device, that whatever the organ, that works perfectly. That is the reason why you need stem cells. So is it clear what exactly the mechanism happens, why you need a stem cell and how it cures some of the diseases? So this is what exactly the technology involved in stem cell. Now when it comes to this usage of stem cell, is it really so simple technology? The technology is not such a simple thing, and you can't use it for everyone, this technology, because now I am giving two different type of cells, three I am giving: blood cells, the embryonic stem cell, and adult stem cell, cord blood stem cell. When it comes to the therapeutic, it's not so success, we are not using it, but theoretically that is possible. When it comes to the cord blood, or when it comes to the cord blood stem cell, in that cord blood stem cell we can collect the cord blood and we can save it, or perinatal from placenta and all, you can save it and you can do, it's not a problem, with that. But when it comes to the embryonic stem cells, from where you will bring this embryonic stem cell? I am saying it is from the embryo. Can you really, when embryo will be formed? Embryo will be formed when an oocyte is fertilized with the sperm. That means it's a life, and you are taking away that life. And from where you are taking? Are you taking from inside the womb of a mother? If you take from the inside the womb of a mother, it is highly criminal activity, because you are killing a person just because for your research purpose. But what you are doing is, you are taking an egg cell or oocyte from other, and you are we are fertilizing it with a sperm cell in vitro, that means outside the body. And later, once this fertilization process started and your embryo started forming, within 3 to 5 days we will take all these cells and we can use it for any curing. But here also we are wastaging some sort of embryo. But whereas when it comes to the adult stem cell, actually adult stem cell don't have any such problem. Simply from my body, from your body, you can take. If someone need blood cell, they can take it from my body, because when they are collecting blood from my body, my blood consisting of blood cells and as well as blood stem cells, that means adult stem cell, they can use that. But the problem with the adult stem cell is that the adult stem cell can only be work as one specialized stem cell. If I take it from blood, they can be used it for the only blood. But the recent research shown like it can be used it for the other, but that requires an extra process. Can we really affordable, and what is the success rate and what are the side effects? Those are all comes into later. But anyhow, so this is how we will normally take these cells. But one more important point is, when it comes to the embryonic stem cell, they are easily matched with the other people. But when it comes to the adult stem cell, suppose if you have taken any adult stem cell for a particular donor, and if you are giving that adult stem cell to a particular recipient, there should be a perfect match between the donor cell and the recipient body. If this perfect match is not there, then there is a chance that this may reject. But whereas in case of this cord blood cells or some sort of embryonic cells, then it will be very easy, like even if the receptor matches, they no need to perfectly match the cells here and there. If the little bit match is over, then they can use it. But the problem is, this collection itself is the problem. Collection of these cells is the problem, because cord blood, in the sense, how many people are really having the idea to store the cord blood? Our cord blood is definitely used for ours, but we don't have idea at the time of the birth, but we have to take the cord blood from the others, but again it has to match with you. The collection, the point is, it's difficult. When it comes to the embryonic stem cell, I just explained embryonic stem cell means you understood, like you have to take it from embryo, and you can't take any embryos like that, and you can't do that, because the embryos you can't use whatever way you want, because it's unethical. So that's the point, that's the problem with this embryonic and collection. But whereas when it comes to the adult stem cell, you will get it easy, but you have to make it pluripotent. That itself takes different process. So pluripotent means that adult cell must be converted into in such a way that they should get an ability to get form into any type of different specialization. Earlier, adult stem cell having a capacity to only to convert into that particular type of specialization, but now you have to make that to convert it into any of the specialized cell. So because of this problem, this matching problem, it's very difficult sometimes to use adult stem cell. But when it comes to this cord blood and the embryonic stem cell, you can make it easy, but the point is you need to find the suitable cells. Okay, so this is something about how the adult stem cells and the embryonic stem cells and this cord blood stem cells, we will use it for the curing of diseases. So some of the diseases which you cannot cure from the medicines because that part physically itself it got damaged. Now you need to add it with the fresh muscle, and that can become only through these cells because these cells having a capacity to multiply. Now once you understood this entire concept, now sir, how it is applicable to HIV then? Okay, you said correct. Okay, I understood for liver, I understood for blood, I understood for something nervous system, I understood for spinal cord, I understood. But how it is applicable to HIV? Does in HIV any of our part will get damaged? No, our total immune system will get affected, and ultimately your body loses immunity, and immediately you may attack with anything and you will die. But how this stem cell is going to use in HIV? Because the reports are showing like because of this stem cell technology only they are cured. It's not in the latest case of women. The earlier 2 cases, I said total 3 people, no, in earlier 2 cases also because of this stem cell technology only they have cured from this HIV. They have cured from the HIV. So how it has become possible? Now I will discuss that with respect to HIV. And you all know like HIV is a virus, human immunodeficiency virus, and if you are affected with the human immunodeficiency virus, then later stage you will get AIDS. That means AIDS. What is this AIDS? Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. This you will get. But anyhow, now we are discussing only about HIV. So HIV is a virus, and you know finding the medicine or vaccine has become very difficult for HIV because the virus itself is changing. It's not always constant. That is the reason why it is very difficult. It is very difficult to get that the vaccine or drug. It's an elusive concept. We are unable to do it. But we have some sort of medical treatments like antiretroviral therapy. And antiretroviral therapy is not going to cure the HIV, but to some extent you will get some sort of the symptoms, or we can call it as you can manage the chronic conditions of the HIV, and it can also reduce of spreading of the virus from one person to another person, but it's not going to cure. Now what happened is, in this last case how they have done is, actually they have found some woman which belongs to Africa. In the year 2013, she was diagnosed with HIV. In the year 2013 they find like she got HIV. That in the diagnosis process they confirmed that she got HIV. Now what they have done is, immediately they have started this antiretroviral therapy, and she was under that IRT medication. In the year 2017, they again the same lady diagnosed with leukemia. Leukemia is nothing but blood cancer. So leukemia, she affected with leukemia, and it's like a cancer. Now what they have done is, they have exposed her to this chemotherapy. That means exposed to the radiation. Because of this radiation, they are able to reduce this leukemia effect, and blood cells got destroyed. Now what they have done is, they have tried to add this new blood cells into this lady. For that they have collected this adult stem cell from bone marrow of a relative. So they have taken the adult stem cell from a bone marrow of a relative, because it has to be perfectly matched, no? So they have taken and they have placed it in the inside the bone marrow of this lady. At the same time, they have also taken the cord blood stem cells from a baby, a newly born baby, and they have added that thing also. And anyway, they will program it as a blood cell, they will program it as a blood cell and it will enter. Now these two stem cells, they are acting like a parent cell and they are programmed to generate the blood cell. Now they will start generating the blood cells. And you know, in the blood cells you will have RBC, WBC and platelets. So they will generate, and after that the blood started generating and she got cured from this leukemia and everything. And even after some time the reports are showing like she also cured from this HIV. After that she also cured from this HIV. Why? How come it is possible? Just because when I give this stem cell and cord blood cell, for what purpose I am giving these cells? For the purpose of generating the blood, because she don't have the blood. That is what her disease, the next disease what she got in the year 2017. And this was happened earlier also. The earlier patients also, they have done the same thing, but at that point of time they haven't added this cord blood cell, they have only added adult stem cell of their relatives. But the point is, why actually? That means if any patient affected with the HIV, suppose if you expose them to the chemotherapy and if you bring adult stem cells into that bone marrow of those people, will they automatically cured from the HIV? Is it so simple? The answer is not so simple. The answer is not so simple. The point is, this matching should happen always, otherwise it will be very difficult. And more important aspect of this entire discussion is, whenever they are taking this stem cells, whenever they are taking this stem cell or cord blood cell, they are taking the cells from such a people, they are having a natural immunity against the HIV. So there are some people whose genetic sequence is in such a way that their body, that means their cells can be immune to the HIV, Such a genetic modification is there in some people. You need to identify those people. You can't simply take the cord blood and the stem cell directly and you can't inject it. So in these three cases, whatever the people that we have selected, those people having a natural immunity against this HIV virus. That is the reason why when the adult stem cells from that or the cord blood cell, when they have taken and when they have placed it inside the bone marrow, then it started generating blood. And the blood includes RBC, WBC, platelets. And if you looking into the WBC and who will generate the immune system in your body, it is the WBC. Whether it is because there are different type of cells that will protect the immunity to the body, whether it is T cell, whether it is T cell, whether it is B cell, whether it is NK cell, or you combinedly you call it as lymphocytes and neutrophils. So this is how you will have a different type of immunity. Now the cells that are generating the blood, in turn WBC, in turn T, B, NK and other lymphocytic cells are inherently having a capacity to have an immunity to HIV. That's the point here. So that is the reason why immediately when this bone marrow implantation or when the bone marrow is added with this stem cell and cord blood cell, then immediately they have started generating the blood. Over a process, these people got cured from the HIV. That means the people who are having a natural immunity, because it's not like an immunity how you are getting it through the vaccines. It's not an immunity how you are getting it through the vaccines. In vaccine also you will get the immunity, but that is by sending an inactivated virus. But here you can't send that inactivated virus because the virus of yesterday is different from that of today. So you can't bring immunity in that way, but you are bringing the immunity in such a way that those people who are having a natural immunity, we are taking those cells. And which cells? Stem cells. Simply if you take their cells and if you place it, they will live for some days and after that they will die, and again this whatever the HIV will take control over the entire body. So you are taking the stem cell and of that such body, and these people in this body, when they are generating the blood, they themselves generating the immunity, and because of that these people got cured of COVID-19, cured of HIV. Okay, so this is something about how the stem cells are used in curing HIV. Now one important aspect of this entire thing is they have given two cells, one is cord blood cell and second one is adult stem cell. So actually why this combination they have given, what exactly the role played by this adult stem cell and what exactly the role played by cord blood cell, we don't know exactly, but they have tried and tested in this model, it has proven success. But anyhow, why we will use adult stem cell and why we use cord blood cell means, adult stem cell must be matched, but cord blood cell or embryonic stem cell, even if the marker gene, if they are something immunity marker, if they are matched, then that is fine. So if the immune markers are matched, then this cord blood cell or embryonic stem cell, they can fix with the recipient body, but whereas in case of the adult stem cell, they must have some there must have some sort of perfection. That's why normally we will take it from the relatives. Okay. So the adult stem cell boosted the parent's immunity and possibly helped the cord blood cell fully integrate with the whatever the ladies or whatever the person's immune system. So this of all, first this will generate some sort of immunity in the body, and it also makes the cord blood, whatever the stem cell that we injected, that this will help us to integrate this cord blood stem cell fully with the body. So that means one cooperating with each other, but why only this combination, they haven't understood, but it is in the process of research, but the results are showing like this combination has worked well. But this stem cell therapy process is cumbersome process. It is barely accessible to the most of the HIV patients. So it's not that easy, but on the other hand, it is showing a path, it is showing a way, like in how many ways we can cure the diseases. It's very good if you are able to find such a people who are having the natural immunity, and definitely we can collect the stem cell from them and they can use it for the different purposes, like the purpose, and you can use it for any new upcoming diseases also. So this is very, very important innovation. Okay. That means they have identified a process through which we can cure the HIV. So this is the usage of stem cell. Now you understood stem cell can be used to cure the diseases both directly and as well as indirectly also. So, and it was published in the Hindu newspaper, I think 15 days back. Very, very important. You may get a question on this. Just have an idea. Stem cell, what is the purpose of stem cell? What is the role of stem cell in this, and what is the role of stem cell in curing of other diseases, and what are the different type of stem cells? One more aspect of this, apart from this curing, does really the stem cell have any other purpose? Apart from curing this the kidney or liver or blood diseases or HIV, does it have any other purpose? The stem cell is having, apart from that, it is having another two different purposes. So one purpose, what we call it as regenerative medicine. That means just now whatever I have said, it's a regenerating. So it is regenerating the cells, thereby it is curing the diseases. Now when it comes to the second, this will be used for understanding how the diseases occur. See, what is the meaning of disease? Suppose sometimes it can be diseases, some of the diseases will be occurred by the pathogens. If any virus or any bacteria enters inside the body, then definitely they will try to kill the cell and they will try to attack the cell, and thereby will get the diseases. There are some diseases we don't understand why they are happening, because these are not communicable. These are not communicable. So the mechanism happen inside, and it happen automatically. You don't know why the liver muscle will completely become loose, or you don't understand why the muscle of your particular organ will become will be affected with something. You don't understand that. Suppose if you have these stem cells with you, and if you cultivate that, if you culture that stem cells in a lab, and if you expose to the different bodily environment, then definitely the changes that are happening to these cells, you can understand, thereby you can understand how they are happening inside the body, and in what way we can cure that. So this is how it is helpful. So how the diseases occurred, because it's all about the study of the cells. So this is another important aspect, how we will study how the diseases occurred. Next one is testing the new drug. Testing the new drugs. Testing the new drug for safety and effectiveness, because the drug cannot be, how the drug is going to affect a particular cell. You can't test physically, like sending inside the body. If something goes wrong, he will die. So what we are doing is, anyway, whatever the cultured cells are there, and we will apply that drug to these cells, so that you can understand the response of that entire cell system. So it is to test the new drug on the different cells. It is to understand how the diseases are occurring, and it is for the regenerative medicine purposes. For these three things we will use the stem cell. Okay. So this is something about the different type of stem cell, and the point is, the embryonic stem cell and the cord blood stem cell are completely versatile. They can be converting it into any of the specialized cell, but whereas when it comes to the adult stem cell, they are having very limited capacity. That means they can only convert into that sort of specialized cell, but the modern research show that they can be converted it into different parts. That doesn't mean that adult stem is also works like an embryonic stem cell. No, it don't have such a versatility. To some extent, we can suppose the embryonic stem cell, it is converted into having a capacity of around 200 and plus different type of cells, but whereas when it comes to the adult stem cell, maybe they are having some 4 to 5 different type of cells. Just I am giving an example. Okay. So the versatility to embryonic stem cells or the cord blood stem cells is very high, or we can call it as this perinatal stem cell is very high, but whereas when it comes to the adult stem cell, it is not that high. So now this can be used, this technology can be used for curing this HIV in the people, because this is very important, because it's showing a new path. If at all I want to give some numbers, how many HIV patients are there in India? Around 23.48 lakh patients that are affecting with HIV, and this might be one of the best source for reducing, but the thing is, we need to do lot of research on this. We need to make it so accessible, and we don't know the futuristic problems that we are going to face with this. But in this, I think if at all I'll take from 15 to 49 years age group, in that male almost 0.24% of the males and 0.2% of the females are affected with this HIV. So definitely this stem cell system in curing the HIV has replaced the earlier immune system, and they have replaced with the new immune system, but the only thing is the persons who are having the natural immunity to the HIV, those immune system we replicated inside the patient's body, but the point is that will be done through the stem cell, you can't do it in another way. This is how it is different from the immunity that we are getting through the vaccine. So the immunity which you are getting through the vaccine is different from that of the immunity that you are getting through the stem cell technology. Here we are not using it as a direct regenerative medicine. A regenerative medicine has itself created some sort of immune system, and that has helped us to cure the HIV. Okay. So this is something about this. Okay. Thank you.
Amrita IAS Academy.